Cool. I see the little red light.
There it is. It's on. Welcome back
Nice.
to Crew Call with the Scooters. We're with our dear, dear, dear beloved friend, Phil Atkins, who's one of the most
Hey guys.
amazing directors of photography. Is that what we're saying? Is that how you want to be referenced?
Yeah, that would be freelance director of photography. That works out pretty well.
Well, that's amazing. So Phil, where are you? What's going on? We were scheduled prior, but you had a job. How is that possible?
I know.
Yeah, I actually got a little gig that came through yesterday, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Unexpected and good, and all went well. We were very safe.
Good.
So things were good.
That is really good.
That is really good.
So what is happening in the production world as you know it? When did stuff start to kind of ramp down for you?
Well, I was actually, this time of year, normally I'm doing a ton of like travel stuff, a lot of like corporate travel, because a lot of corporations are doing their like corporate retreat kind of stuff. They're gearing up for material for that. So I was actually down in Fort Lauderdale the week, I'm going to get my dates all messed up. It was the day that they shut down the NBA. That's what I remember. Because we were like sitting there and I was like, oh man, this is serious. Flying around was not so bad. I had like a whole row to myself. That was kind of nice. But being in Florida and then kind of hearing that everybody was being called back and they were shutting down events, that was kind of was like, oh, that's not good. And then everything that I had lined up in March just started to go away. Mm-hmm. So either postponed or canceled completely, or hey, we'll call you when we're back up and running kind of stuff. So, and I feel like that's the way it is for anybody kind of doing the production life right now.
Have you heard anything about like when things would pick up? Is there any like inclination on that?
I think a lot of, at least from what I've heard, companies are doing things internally and they have messages that they want to get out, to either their employees or to their customers. So there's a lot of kind of maybe graphic design stuff happening where different agencies can kind of do stuff from home. And then you see a lot of just like iPhone style, social media kind of stuff going out as well. But it kind of, at least to me, a lot of the stuff I had didn't outright cancel. It was kind of like, hey, we'll push it back a couple months and we'll see what happens. Every couple of weeks, we kind of get in touch and see where we're going with that. So a lot of hurry up and wait right now. I had a lot of opportunity to work on my taxes. That was good. And yeah.
Aren't they now deferred until when?
July.
Right. Yeah. Which is nice, but it's still, if you have been a freelancer or know what that's like when you get just a ton of like 1099s, it's nice to have the time to really sit down and do them properly, I guess. And then other things like I totally reformatted my computer. I went through all my hard drives. I started organizing all my old photos. So all kinds of stuff that I can do from home. Yeah. Just give it to me and I'll just sit there and organize it all.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. So what are you, you have a whole crew that you normally work with. You have your people.
A lot of guys. I think everybody's kind of ended up in the same boat right now. So for freelancers, at least here in kind of Pittsburgh, January is kind of usually a slow time anyway. So the timing of this isn't actually the best because we're kind of coming out of a slow time. Usually you start to hear about stuff in February and then by March, we've kind of ramped up into full on production and you've got a lot of stuff going and, you get random calls for work the next day. So this was kind of like slow period. Okay, we're gearing up and then shut it down. Wow. Which was interesting. I was lucky. My February, I was able to bank a bunch of good jobs right up until we kind of shut everything down. So, luckily I've got some of that squirreled away and I, should be able to ride it out for a while. And I guess there's some good news on the unemployment front. It sounds like self-employed people are going to be able to dive into that for the first time, which is kind of nice here for sure.
Right.
Yeah, we heard that when it came out a couple of days ago.
Yep.
And I think
and I guess they're finalizing all that right now. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much, but it's nice to hear that that's at least on the table right now. So if this does end up going 3, 4, 5 months, we'll be able to kind of ride it out and be okay.
Has anybody in terms of corporations, have they reached out to you and said, we're just going to postpone it until the back half of the year? Or is anybody talking about timeframes at all with you guys?
I haven't heard that. Now, normally for me, I would be hired by, a production house of some sort. So I don't have a lot of direct client interaction right now. A lot of the stuff that I've heard is just kind of, hey, once we know when the restrictions on working close to people are going to be lifted, then we'll start talking timelines. I haven't heard anything about just a flat, like, hey, we're going to push everything 6 months and then kind of start from there yet. But a lot of the stuff that I'm getting right now is just really quick, like me and a camera going out and just grabbing like messaging for, some brand or some company that's just, they're doing something specific. It's coronavirus related, and they would like to get that out, and they would like it to not just be a cell phone. So that's kind of the stuff that I'm getting right now. And it's nice just to have any reason to get out of the house at the moment. So I'm down with that.
Are those like connections you've had before, or have you done anything to like market yourself more during this time?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because the other part of like trying to gear up for what will happen after this is taking some time to really work on a new demo reel and a website and that kind of stuff. So not necessarily, the contacts that I have with people are still the contacts. If they're not getting work right now, I'm not getting work right now. But being ready to hopefully reach out and kind of acquire new work after this all lifts, it's kind of a nice opportunity to do that as well. So working on those things.
And you're on the north side, so you run into Anita all the time at Commonplace. So, and there's been a lot of restaurants and everything shutting down over there. What are you doing you're pretty locked into that community. Is there a lot of GoFundMe's? We just talked to Mia Tarduki about, GoFundMe's with Superior Motors. Is there anything going on like that on the north side?
So most of the places that we frequent are still doing like takeout orders and stuff like that. So the Blue Spare food truck, he's still out doing a lot of like grab and go stuff. And, you can pay for it all online, go pick it up and go. The Park House, which is a bar that I usually go to, he's still up and running in the evenings for takeout food. So at least for this first couple of weeks, we've tried to really help support those businesses that are staying open and, ordering out way more than I think we ever have, honestly. But it's good. It's nice. At least in the north side, it seems like people are really on board with trying to keep those businesses afloat during this time until either they can find some help through this new stimulus thing or, some sort of loan or whatever. So it seems to be working out pretty well. I know that Commonplace actually just shut down for good right now, at least for a couple of weeks, but the Blue Spare food truck was still sitting outside the other day. So went down there and talked to Luke, and he's doing a lot of like to-go soups and stuff like that you can just kind of store in the fridge and go from there. And then hopefully it's about to warm up this week, so I'll be able to get the grill out and I can just kind of exist in my backyard and not in this tiny little office up here.
I was going to ask, though, you are like a big cook. I know you cook like your entire Thanksgiving dinner. I will always remember that about you.
Yeah.
So, but are you making
Super Bowl.
anything? I know. What are you trying? Anything new?
I did sous vide egg bites for the first time. That was kind of big because now Shelby and I are here every morning, so we've got kind of a breakfast thing going on. And again, I think just during those first couple of weeks when it was really unsure, we did want to support our local people as much as we could. So we were just like takeout after takeout after takeout, like lunch and dinner, going to different places. This week coming up, I think now we've kind of got like home delivery of groceries. I made a Costco run the other day just because we had to get some stuff. That was an interesting experience. But we have some stuff in the house now, so going to be cooking a little more, grilling outside, and trying to exist that way. Otherwise, we're just going to go broke doing takeout every single day.
Well, that's very true. When you're out, and you said the Costco run was interesting. Jeff Swenson, he was talking about that. Kind of the engagement with other people. I know I had a run-in at a grocery store with a woman that was way too close to me, and I was like, "Oh no, lady, what are you doing?"
I feel bad for her.
I know.
Don't mess with Jenny.
Exactly, but I was
some people are like diving out of the way with their carts, and other people are just like coming right up beside you and grabbing stuff, and it's just kind of like that, hey, kind of thing. And I guess that's kind of a decent cross section of just people in general. Some people are taking it seriously, some people aren't at all. Yeah. I did notice that, at least from Costco's standpoint, they had people out there sanitizing. Like I got gas first. That was one of the reasons I went through there. A guy sanitizing the screen every single time, sanitizing the pump handle. As soon as you walked in, you got a sanitized cart. It seemed like it wasn't super busy when I was there, but it seems like they're set up to kind of monitor the amount of people. And then they had lines on the floor when you were getting ready for checkout for how far you were staying away from people. So at least Costco seemed to be kind of doing their part. And, you know, the aisles and stuff are wide enough that you just kind of give everybody a wide berth and went on through. So that was my Costco run.
Costco with Phil.
Well, that was not my grocery run earlier today. I can tell you.
No, you probably had to fight somebody.
I was pretty blown. I told Quartz, I was so blown away by just the ignorance of it all. I was just like, what are we doing?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
this is not a joke. You know, this is here. So I was bothered by it. I needed to center myself a little bit. So
for sure.
What are you doing to take care of yourself in terms of your mental game and keeping things fresh besides organizing?
You know, definitely getting any day it's nice. Try to get outside a little bit. Try to turn the news off more, but I'm not doing so good at that right now. It's like I probably have that on in the background more than I need to right now. And yeah, taking the dog for walks and stuff like that, and taking the time to do things that are fun for me. Like, so for photography stuff, I ended up getting like a new printer kind of before all this came down. So I was able to dive into calibrating that and just making prints out of all these photos that I've taken, and living vicariously through those and these wonderful spots that I get to travel to.
Right.
Now that I'm stuck in a room in a house somewhere. But you know, the neighborhood is pretty good. Like you see people out and about, but everybody is, you know, making sure that we're 6 feet apart, and being able to go out even just when I'm picking up food and just kind of talk to people from a distance is nice. So trying to get some interaction, talking with our neighbors. We did like a fire the other day where we sat on our opposite sides of the fence, but had a bonfire out and, you know, had some beverages, and that was kind of nice. So doing as much as we can to, you know, stay engaged with our community.
How are you? How's your family?
They're good. So my parents live up in Western PA in like a small town, and they're basically retired at this point. So they hang out at home all the time. They're doing the takeout order stuff. Shelby's parents live up in Cranberry. Part of the whole reason I did that Costco run was to make sure that I could grab some stuff for them instead of sending them out, because I know that her dad wanted to go. So doing some stuff like that. But everybody's, you know, surviving and doing well. No health issues that we know of.
That's good.
That's very good.
Yeah. How about you guys? How are you? How are your families and everything?
Everybody is good.
Yeah.
Everybody's
good.
Thankfully, very, very good. So we're pretty blessed about that. So that's awesome.
Just staying inside.
Yeah, just
yes.
Try not to get into fights in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Try not to do that. Well, Phil, we love you. Thank you so much.
I love you guys too. Good talking to you.
Seriously. And hopefully this lifts soon and we can all get back to shooting and doing some beautiful work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, the idea is that hopefully, you know, people still have budgets and stuff that they had set in place for this year anyway. So once this thing lifts, you know, their back half of the year hopefully picks up. And that's, you know, what we're doing, staying optimistic about that and trying to stay engaged with things until then.
We'll keep posting your stuff because you have great stuff. So keep posting all of the photos.
Will do. Thank you.
And I'll live vicariously through your
stuff. Seriously.
Sure. Okay.
Wishful thinking.
Don't be selfish, Phil.
Yeah, give the people what they want, Phil.
Can do.
Bye, Phil.
Bye, Phil. Right. Have a good weekend.
Great talking with you guys. Be safe.